G'day everyone, welcome to episode 2. Today's episode is brought to you by New Choice Homes for all your home design and building needs. New Choice Homes is your company to go to. Today we're joined by Jamie McNamara. He is a former captain of the East Fremantle Footy Club. He notched up 145 games, 19 games at the West Coast Eagles, and he is now Perth's hottest dad. J-Mac, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks, Nads. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Now, we'll start at the top, mate. We'll start with the important stuff. You and the wife, Jess, have had your baby girl, Kennedy, back in April, mate. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's good, mate. Loving it. It's loving it so far. It's obviously not without its challenges, that's for sure. The lack of sleep thing you hear about is definitely no joke. But, no, it's good. We're just working through it. And, yeah, it's obviously everything sort of revolves around her. She's pretty little bub now. She's pretty quick to take over the house, but yeah, we're loving every second of it. We've got plenty of support around the place with the folks coming over and helping out, which has been great because we haven't had been able to have too many visitors with obviously the whole COVID situation. So to have some family around the place has been really helpful, though.
Yeah, awesome. So you spoke about adjusting to that life of having a kid. What are some of the bigger adjustments you've found thus far?
Oh, look, just basically all your focus, goes onto her. So, I'm not, obviously past life with footy and everything, you probably think of yourself a little bit more, but that goes out the window pretty quick. I'm actually sitting out here in the backyard at the moment because I don't want to wake her up. So it's little things like that. And, but it's, no, it's been great. You just, you find yourself just watching their every move and, even though they're not doing too much at this early stage, it's a pretty amazing experience. And no, it's been really good so far.
Awesome. And you are having to live with the expectation now of being Perth's hottest dad. How are you handling that expectation?
Don't know about that at all, mate. Don't think about those things, really.
How long before you reckon you've got the shirt off pushing the pram along Cottesloe Beach?
Well, mate, with the ISO life plus the new bub coming into things, the dad bod is starting to develop. So I think I've got to wait till the gym's open back up and hit some sort of a program, mate. I might even have to get back down to Shark Park and just train with you boys for a little bit, I think.
Oh, mate, welcome anytime. Welcome anytime. We've actually been getting stuck back into it the last few weeks. So we're in our small group. So whenever you want, mate, I'm sure Big Bill will let you down there for a session or two. So now let's talk about footy for a bit too. So you've had a pretty good career, or you had a pretty good career. No doubt. You obviously played 145 games down at East Freo. Obviously at West Coast for a few years. Had 19 games there. Your stint, you had a couple of years over in Williamstown as well.
Yep.
Talk us through some of your highlights, mate. What were some of the sort of the better moments over your journey? Because it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's just obviously, you look at your individual games and then your team success was the main thing. Towards the latter years at the Sharks, we didn't have the most success, which was a bit disappointing towards the end. But still, just you take so many different things away from your career. In terms of like highlights, there was my second game of AFL for West Coast. Played it ended up being a drawn semi-final, a packed house at Subi against Collingwood, which was a pretty special moment. We obviously just went down to Collingwood in extra time, but just to be a part of that game was pretty amazing. And I always sort of think back to some of the early days, like 2008, 2009 at East Freo, like some of the derbies we used to play against South back in the day. And I think we used to get like 10,000 people at those games on Anzac Day and Foundation Day derby. And I think it was 2010 on Anzac Day, we had a 1-point win over South Freo and some good names rolling around in that team with us at the time. So those kind of memories were pretty special.
It's good that you mentioned that the derbies back in the day when you're getting those big crowds. I think that's something that I think the footy clubs missed in the last couple of years, I guess, with the limited success. Not drawing those big crowds to the derbies on Anzac Day and WA Day. I think we had a good crowd last year, but we'd obviously love to get a few more people down to Shark Park. That's for sure. And I guess now post footy, what are you doing to keep yourself busy? I know you had a kick down at Pinjarra a few times last year, so you had a kick down there and work life. How's it all going?
Yeah, played at Pinjarra last year. I was pretty set on just having a year off, but Brocky O'Brien, ex-Sharks player, as everyone would know, sort of roped me into coming down and having a kick with Pinjarra. And yeah, loved it down there. A bit of country footy. It wasn't too far away. It's like less than an hour away, so it was good to have a kick and meet a few of those boys. Really good club. Obviously, that's on hold. I'm going around again this year, but it's on hold at the moment with everything happening. And now, apart from that, amongst all this going on, I also started a new job recently, which is just to throw that into the mix with Coates Hire, just in a sales role there. So that's been interesting. I had about 2 days in the office in my new job, and then we were all sent home to work from home before the coronavirus. So I haven't even been back in there yet. I'm still sort of working from home, but in a funny way, it's kind of suited us at the moment. We've got the new bub here, and I'm working from home, being able to be a little bit closer to her and help Jess out a bit around the house, mate. Do a little bit of the bit of cooking, some dishes, bit of the domestic work, Snads. It's been a bit of a change up, but it's good.
Oh, mate, look at you go. Hands full. You're all over it, aren't you? Now, I want to take your mind back, and I reckon, you know what I'm talking about straight away. I want to take you back to 2010, round 11. It's one of your games at West Coast. You're versing Geelong at Subiaco Oval. Now, a lot of the boys down at the footy club have seen the footage, but I want to get your version of events. So, long story short, you've kicked the ball the wrong way.
Yep.
And Geelong scored a goal. Now, I want you to run through what was going through your mind, because it's honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen someone do. Just your facial expressions as you're kicking the ball had me in stitches watching it again last night. Run us through your version of events, mate, and what was actually going through your mind.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, mate. Like, in all honesty, a lot of people don't know, it actually came straight from the bench, and the ball in came like right in front of the bench, and there was a quick interchange. So I didn't really have time to think which way we're going. Caught me out a little bit. One of the cleanest taps you'll ever see, clearances off Coxie's hand, palmed it straight down to me, and I just kept running the wrong way. And then obviously no one was coming at me, so I kept going. And then I looked up, and I was going to obviously kick into the forward line, and I looked up and saw Darren Glass leading at me, and that's when I thought, yeah, something's not right here. So I've like gone to pull the kick at the last minute, too late, and then the rest was history pretty much.
Oh, mate, because Coxie's absolutely put that one down your throat, and you've just barged straight through. Were you thinking goals?
I was thinking just to lace out, try and hit up a forward. And I also was thinking, obviously, there was no pressure on me, so what was going on there? But I was actually pretty dirty after that. I was like, didn't speak to any of the boys in the rooms after, shot off out of there, got out of the ground pretty quick.
Oh, it's just the face you make as you're kicking the ball. You turn around and you just say to yourself, oh no, what have I done? And the fact they kick a goal from it is probably, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
We had Geelong in their prime, so it wasn't exactly a close game. So it didn't matter too much on the scoreboard in the end.
Oh, bloody hell, mate. Now, we like talking footy trips on this little segment we've got going on, mate. We had Juppy on last week, who mentioned a few of the good operators. You're actually a veteran of footy trips. Where are some of the better places you've been to on your footy trips?
Done Bali a few times, Thailand, Hong Kong. Where else have we been? I did Airlie Beach up on the east coast there with the Williamstown boys. So got a few, and I would have done Bali like 2 or 3 times though. And obviously with the East Fremantle boys towards the end there, they went to Bali a fair bit.
Yeah. Did you ever hit up Vegas for a footy trip?
No, I didn't. No, I've done Vegas. I've done Vegas with a couple of schoolmates, but we never ended up getting there on a footy trip. I've heard it's pretty good though, but it takes a lot of organising. So I think you've almost got to save up some serious funds a year or 2 years in advance, but can be done.
Yeah, it's a hell of a place. Vegas would be an unreal time if you're there with a few boys from footy club. Now, in terms of operators on the footy trips, who are some of the better ones you've seen? You know, West Coast, East Fremantle, Williamstown. Who are some of the ones that give it a red hot crack?
I'd have to say, well, Cam Erdley and Sean Henson, that combo when they get going are pretty good. More so Shawnee. Shawnee's a bit of an instigator. He's a pretty good operator on footy trip. But those two, when they're up and about, are pretty good, I reckon.
Yeah. I've seen those two just go out in Perth, and it's scary enough. So I can't imagine what that'd be like on a footy trip. So bloody hell.
Sometimes a bit of ability though, to be honest, mate.
Yeah. Now, mate, we're going to finish up real quickly with a quick fire 5 questions. So I'm just going to fire a couple at you and just hit us back with whatever you've got, mate. So who has been your greatest footy mentor?
Greatest footy mentor. It's a tough one, actually. Probably. Yeah,
Or a
I'm
coach
not
you've
sure.
really enjoyed playing under?
Best coach? Yeah, it's because you kind of go through phases in footy careers, so it's hard to say to pick one throughout. But probably my best coaches, I'd say Shane Woden early on, and then Peter German over at Williamstown was. He was a bit of a drill sergeant, but I liked it. He was really structured and got a little bit hot-headed at times, but he left a really good impression on me.
Yeah, and we'll stay with the head coaches for the second one. Which of them that you've had in your time has given out some of the biggest sprays you've seen?
Yeah, again, Peter German. I gave out some of the biggest sprays. He used to tell me that it's not East Freo anymore. This isn't WA. This isn't the waffle footy, blah, blah, blah. He used to give me a fair bake when I needed it. And you can't go past Stavros. Steve Laxos was pretty good at a spray as well. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you used to get the froth build up on the bottom lip, the whole works. If you were in the front row, you used to get a proper spray, yeah.
Big cotton mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, beauty. Number 3, what's the best game that you've been a part of? You mentioned the 2007, was it 2007 semi-final, the draw? Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that one, any other maybe East Freo games that have really stuck with you?
Yeah, I'll probably say that 2010 Anzac Day Derby, like 10,000 people, won by a point. I think we had like Brad Shepherd and your Fasolo brothers and some pretty good names like Mark McGough, Casey Green. Had a pretty good team. That whole year, those couple of years were pretty good.
Yeah, beauty. Number 4, so we'll take you back to a couple of ex-teammates and your playing career. For your career, if you had to have one of these, would you rather have Brett Peake's speed or Brock O'Brien's left peg?
Probably Brett Peake's speed because I just never had speed myself. So I wouldn't mind knowing what that feels like.
The old silver fox is nippy, isn't he? Now,
Yeah,
last one, mate. I want you to rank these in order. So number 1 being obviously top, down to number 3. Your wedding day, your AFL debut, and your 2016 mark of the year.
Obviously the 20 in the wedding day first, then AFL debut, then the mark of the year.
Okay, so you've played it safe. You've gone against everything that I was hoping.
Yeah, because Jess will be watching this.
You're a smart man, Dana. You're a very smart man. Now, thanks again for joining us, J-Mate. Really appreciate you sitting down and having a chat. Good to see everything's going well with Kennedy, and I'm sure Jack Perrin will be hitting you up pretty soon to take a photo of the young Kennedy and chuck it up on his Instagram. So I'm sure you're preparing for that, mate. All the best with it and all the best with the new job as well. So thanks a lot for joining us.
Cheers, Snads. Thanks for having me on.